Again at Amwiser. My name is Parveen Mehtani, and Amwiser has been conceptualized starting from my two children, Aditya and Ahana, where we host industry experts to provide young adults, whether just passing out of school, early in college, with knowledge, inspiration, and motivation, which is beyond the curriculum and syllabus and not available otherwise. So this platform actually connects world experts directly to the young adults. We have with us today Vibhor Mishra. He's Starbucks China Asia Pacific Coffee Ambassador and Authorized Specialty Coffee Association Trainer. And we're going to hear wonderful coffee stories with him today. Welcome, Vibhor, and we look forward to another engaging discussion with you.
Thank you, Ms. Parveen, for this opportunity. And being a Starbucks partner, we actually look for as many as opportunities possible to connect with the wonderful customers. And I think in the present time, where for some of you probably it is difficult to reach to a Starbucks store, I think it's a great opportunity for us to connect over coffee. And I think it was very interesting the way, Parveen, you have curated the invite. I think after a day-long work virtually probably sitting in front of laptop, an intriguing, interesting and powerful coffee conversation will be a great break. So thank you everyone who's joined for that time. My name is Vibhor. I'm a Starbucks China Asia Pacific Coffee Ambassador. I'm a Specialty Coffee Association trainer, and along with that, I lead operations for South region for Tata Starbucks, which has four cities currently: Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, and Kochi. And we are, of course, planning to expand to as many cities as possible. We would want to make this session very interactive. So please keep sharing about your understanding of coffee, which coffee you like the most, and I'll try my best to answer all the queries, because I think over the last 8 years being with Starbucks, I've got a lot of opportunities to be very close to coffee. So I think my love for coffee started by going to Coorg. We are very lucky that we grow coffee in our backyard. And trust me, India grows one of the finest Arabica, and we'll speak in detail about that. Parveen, I'll just check if I'm audible and visible and my internet bandwidth is good.
You were slightly cracking in the last couple of seconds.
Okay, I hope it is better now, because I have joined to Wi-Fi, which is, I think, which has good bandwidth. Yeah, so hope it works. You let me know if I'm cracking in between. Yeah?
I'll give you the heads up, not to worry.
Sure. So I was saying my love for coffee, of course, started by visiting Coorg. And if you have been, any one of you been to Coffee Farm, it's a mesmerizing experience. And after that, I've been to Sumatra, where Starbucks buys one of its single origin coffee. I've been to Rwanda, where again we buy a lot of our coffees from. So these coffee journeys has been very, very interesting, and it taught me one thing, that every variable, everything which touches coffee makes the coffee unique. And at the same time, we need to ensure that everything which touches coffee is actually improving the coffee quality, not deteriorating, right? That is why Starbucks buys coffee from more than 30 countries around the world, and partners like us get an opportunity to travel to so many countries and see coffee in life, so that we can come back and share our coffee stories with customers, right? So this is about me. This is my story. This is my coffee story. And we believe that every partner at Starbucks has a story. And our stories, when we put together, it becomes brand story, right? So similarly, I'm very sure that each one of you have your coffee stories. So if you can unmute and share with me, I mean, which is your favorite coffee beverage and why? It can be anything. It can be Starbucks coffee. If you like any other coffee beverage, if you do coffee at home, it will be interesting to hear that.
Vibhor, you're frozen.
Anybody would like to start?
No, your network, Vibhor. We lost you. We'll wait till he comes.
Hey, Parveen, am I audible?
No, Vibhor, you're not audible. I think you'll have to come back. Yes, now you're back.
Okay. Sorry for the glitch. I was saying, if any one of our participants would like to share which is their favorite coffee beverage and why, what they like about it, it'll be a great way to conversation.
My favorite coffee is the caramel frappuccino.
Yeah, thank you, Ahana, for sharing it. Caramel Frappuccino is one of the popular beverage which we sell, and there's very wonderful story. How did Frappuccino got invented? So till 1994, Starbucks was actually not selling Frappuccino, and it is a big part of our current menu mix, but it is a recent addition. It We launched the brand in 1971, and Frappuccino got introduced in 1994. And US actually in one of our stores, it is one of our partners who arranged for a blender, got ice and all the flavors and mixed it together and made a Frappuccino. Though Frappuccino was a trademark brand earlier, but yes, it really worked out well, and now many of the countries sell it. So thank you. That's a nice story. That how empowerment to your employees to be creative and of course to innovate helped us to get this wonderful beverage. So thank you, Anna, for sharing that. Anyone else would like to share their favorite coffee?
You like the latte? The latte is really good, or even the espresso. Before you lost again. You wait till he comes back. Yes, now you're back. Go ahead. We said we like the cafe latte.
Sorry.
So too.
Okay, great. So, does a customer know? Does any story behind the behind this wonderful creation? Who was the customer? Probably I could not hear because the internet issue.
Oh, that was me, Parveen.
Okay. Hey, so cafe latte is actually a beverage of Italian origin, and cafe latte. So cafe, of course, means coffee, and latte would mean milk in Italian, and cafe latte would mean a coffee which is made with milk. And latte and cappuccinos are made with both milk and coffee, but the difference lies in barista craft. So cappuccino, you would know, has more foam, and latte has a quarter-inch foam, and both are very popular beverages. So how do you like your latte? You like it with any flavors, or you like it plain?
Just absolutely plain. In fact, he
Okay.
to get the taste of the coffee, but
Yes.
so many different Starbucks varieties, and maybe if we could understand why each coffee tastes so different, and how do you see?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I have a brief presentation also, which I'll use, and it has some very fun games, and after you will like it. So let me share that as well. Okay, so before we move to the type of coffees which we make and how each of the coffees are different, if my screen is visible, there's an interesting story that how coffee was discovered. So any one of you would like to share if you have any clue that how coffee was discovered? Of course, I put the hint on the screen here. There's the goat who's eating the berries, red color berries.
Okay, Vipar, I'll pause you because we can see your screen, but we can't really hear you. You're cracking completely. So I think if you could repeat what question you were trying to ask.
Sure. So there's an interesting story that how coffee was discovered. I put a hint on the screen. So anybody would like to share that how was the coffee discovered? Everything, I think every invention or a discovery has an interesting story, whether it is the invention of the bulb or the electricity or the first steam engine, right? So similarly, the discovery of coffee also has an interesting story. Does anybody know this story? There's a hint on the screen. There's a goat there eating a red color berry. Anybody would like to go for it?
You can see the berries, but I'm oh,
Okay. So the story goes like this: way back in 800 AD, which is a significant time back, there was a goat herder in Ethiopia named Khaldi, and Khaldi used to take his goats for grazing. And one fine day, Khaldi saw that these goats started eating berries of a wild, very energetic. Khaldi also got very interested, very intrigued, very curious that how what is happening by after eating these berries. And then he also picked one and tried himself, and somehow he also felt the same magic. And yes, Khaldi and the goats got energetic because of one natural stimulant, which is called as caffeine. And this is probably how coffee was discovered. And this was saw by a few of the monks which was passing by, and they also picked some berries and crushed it and added hot water, and that was probably the first cup of brewed coffee. So we uh, say that it's a very popular but unconfirmed belief that this is how coffee was discovered. So hope you like it. I think when you were sharing, you were asking that why each of the coffees which we sell or some of the gourmet coffees, why are those special, right? How every coffee is not created equal. And one of the specific reason is that where is the coffee growing? So if the coffee is grown at higher elevation, which is 900 sea level, then we say that the coffees will be very, very special. The coffee. So whenever you're buying a bag of coffee next time, do inquire that where is the coffee growing, right? And there are many coffee growing regions which are above 900 meter the sea level, and the coffee has to be special from there. Starbucks only buys coffees which grows above 900 meters the sea level. Why is it? Because the days are warm and the nights are cold, and the maturation of the cherry is slow. This is for, I think, true for every agricultural product. You would prefer mangoes or apples, which actually has completely ripened on the trees, right? And that will give you the maximum flavor. Similarly, with the coffees, we would allow the slow maturation of the cherries at the higher elevation, and that ensures the coffee is special, right? So if you would want to, next time you're going to buy a coffee, do understand about the geography where the coffee is grown. So Latin American coffees, many of the countries like Costa Rica, Colombia, Guatemala, right? All these countries are located almost at 1500 meters to 1800 meters above the sea level. And I think if you speak about core, where we have Tata coffee estates, again the coffee grows at higher elevation. So do visit a coffee farm if you would want to visit a hill station next, and you can see coffee in life at the same time enjoy the climate there. I have put out three pictures in front of you. The first one is a beautiful looking flower. Then we have a cluster of green cherry, and the third one is, of course, the ripened coffee cherry, right? And this is how the coffee looks in life. So if you have not been to any coffee farm, take your next opportunity and be there. Be there, I think, in early March to April, and you would see the coffee farms flooded with these beautiful jasmine scented flowers. And this is how the coffee starts its journey. And after these jasmine scented flowers fall off the tree, there's a cluster of green cherry which forms, which ripens over a period of 9 months, right? So there is a lot of patience involved from the farmers to get this ripened cherries. And
But just
why I'm so
Vibhor,
fascinated.
you're going to have to reshare your slide because we still can see only the first slide.
Okay, is for the glitch today.
I think it's a network issue, not to worry. We've all had these moments, so it's absolutely fine.
Actually, I have a good internet bandwidth. I don't know why this is happening today. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we're on slide 8.
Okay, so this is the slide 6. If you can see, this is what I was speaking about, the elevation. So elevation is a mark of quality in the coffee world, and everything which I spoke, I think this picture beautifully depicts that. So these are the mountains, a steep terrain, and you would see the coffee is grown there. And this coffee is very, very special because of the high altitudes, really nourishes, really takes care of the coffee well and makes the coffee beautiful, very flavorful. So next time when you're buying a bag of coffee, please ensure or verify that if the coffee is grown at the higher elevation. Most of the planters put the information about the coffee estates, and you can Google and find out. We can assure you that Starbucks buys all of its coffee from higher elevation. The next picture, which will pop up on your screen in some time, you will see there are three beautiful pictures there. So first one is the jasmine scented flowers, which I was speaking about. Then there's a cluster of green cherry, and there's a few perfectly ripened cherries are there. So this is how coffee starts your journey, right? And why I'm fascinated about going to Coffee Origin, because you get to do this. So when you get to Coffee Origin, try to pick some coffee cherries. So be there. Probably if you want to go to Kurg, be there from December to February, and you would see the trees have this wonderfully ripened cherry, and you start picking it. And trust me, it's not an easy job, though. I mean, you would think that it's an easy thing, approach a tree and pick it, because these trees are located at a very steep terrain, and you go and pick with your hands. There's no mechanical harvesting because the terrain is steep. We were able to pick only 2 to 2.5 kg in an hour. We ensured that it is perfectly ripe in one, and a skilled farmer can pick up to 11 kgs, right? So this is the difference between somebody like us who's an coffee enthusiast but a mature in doing this thing. But farmers, because the wages in most of the coffee farms around the geography depends on the weight of the coffee, how much they pick. So they do it with a lot of skill. And Parveen, you said that you like a latte which has an espresso shot at the base. Ahana likes a frappuccino which again has an espresso shot at the base, right? So the espresso shot which is put in your coffee is one espresso shot for a tall size beverage, and it is made with 25 ripened cherries, right? One bag of coffee which we have, roasted coffee bean bag, 250 grams, that is the yield of one tree in a season, right? So you would imagine how much hard work it goes. So if the one tree, if it gives the complete blossom over the 9 months, have the perfectly ripened cherries, then that would actually mean one bag of coffee end of the year. So that is quite a labor intensive thing. And that is why I think at Starbucks and a lot of our customers like you really appreciate the coffee. So this is very, very important from your coffee education perspective also. Even if you can see my screen where it is written coffee Arabica. So there are commercially two important species of coffee. If you can just confirm, if you can see the screen where it is written coffee Arabica.
So it is coffee Arabica.
Yeah, great. So coffee Arabica, commercially there are two important coffee, Arabica and Robusta. And Arabica is supposed to be, and it is actually the superior quality coffee. And why it is superior? Because it grows at higher elevation. The coffee has more flavor. The coffee, though, has less yield per tree, but of course it fetches more price. At the same time, it has lesser caffeine than Robusta. So if you want quality coffee, high quality coffee, go for Arabica. And Starbucks Arabica is the top 3% Arabica of the world, right? So as we said, along with the coffee engagement, we'll do some coffee education also. So all of you can go and unmute. I hope we have a better internet bandwidth now. And let me know some of the characteristics of Arabica versus Robusta. So coffee is something which is growing, and you'll come across both the type of coffees in the market. And if you know this, I'm sure you'll be able to pick good coffee beans, or if you're buying a powdered coffee, you will be end up buying a good quality coffee. So approximately 2% caffeine by weight. What do you think? What is it? Is it Robusta or Arabica? Anybody would like to give a try?
I think it might be the first one.
Robusta, absolutely right. So Robusta has more caffeine in it versus Arabica, which has only 1% caffeine by weight, right? So you would get a lot of questions on the caffeine, right? Is it good to have a lot of caffeine intake? So everything in moderation, of course, does not harm you. Coffee does has its health benefits when if consumed in moderation. At the same time, I mean, if you would want to have lesser caffeine, at the same time want to enjoy the taste of coffee, Arabica is a great option there, because compared to Robusta, it almost has half the caffeine, right? Grows best at the high altitudes. I think I've been speaking about that a lot. Anybody would like to quickly share if it is Arabica or Robusta?
It should be Arabica because you said it's better quality.
Yeah, it is. It is Arabica for sure. Robusta grows at lower altitudes. So Robusta here does not. Yes. And Robusta actually here suggests or highlights the robust nature of the tree, right? So it thrives at lower elevation as well. It's a robust, strong plant. Whereas Arabica is a high maintenance crop, but more flavorful. So we know that everything which is of quality fetches or deserves more price. So Arabica actually is expensive. It has more refined flavors, more resistant to disease is the Robusta. Less is Arabica, less refined flavor would be Robusta, and less price point is again Robusta. So these are some of the difference between Arabica and Robusta. You go to market, coffee, any grocery shop, or you come to Starbucks, and always try to ask for this information. And this will help you to pick high quality coffee. And we very proudly say that Starbucks from the 1971 onwards, we've been only selling Arabica, and not only Arabica, the top 3% Arabica, right? So this is a nice selfie prop which I have for all of you, because now you can distinguish between Robusta and Arabica. And next time when you're going to buy a coffee, I'm sure very proudly you'll be able to inquire about these factors. And the baristas at the Starbucks, I can give you assurance that they'll be more than happy to help you out with. Now, as I shared, when we have coffee, the cherry, what are we interested in now? We are interested in the seed of the fruit. And to remove the seed from the fruit, the process is called as processing, right? So please see this picture carefully, because this is again followed by a fun quiz, which all of you can participate in. So the seed is covered by silver skin, parchment, mucilage, pulp, and outer skin. And a simple analogy can be a mango, though the mango is bigger than a ripened red cherry. But yes, the entire anatomy is the same there. So mango, if you eat, you would see that the outer skin is a yellow color thick skin. Inside that is a pulp. Mucilage is the sticky layer, right? So if you're eating mango, you would see that even after you would have craved some of the things with the spoon, there's still some of the pulp attached to the skin. That is called as a mucilage. Mucilage and parchment and silver skin is on top of the seed. So, and the green bean is the last, and you would need the green bean to roast it, right? So I'm sure you all had a good look. So let me know which is the number 4 here. Is it parchment, mucilage, outer skin, seed, pulp, or silver skin? And when you go to Coffee Origin, take a ripened coffee cherry and just squeeze it. The seed will pop out, and you would have the skin and the pulp in your hand. So they'll you to do. So if I'm audible, can somebody share with me what is number 4 here? Hope all of you paid attention.
I think pulp.
Anyone would like to give a try?
Is it mucilage?
Absolutely right. Did I say number 3? Yes. So outer skin. What outer skin would be 1? It is easy 1. Mucilage is absolutely right. Is number 3. Which is number 2 here? Any guesses?
Pulp.
Absolutely. Thank you. The pulp is number 2. And then we have parchment, and then we have silver skin, and then we have seed. Cool. So I think you got it absolutely right. And now this is another selfie prop for all of you, which suggests that now you know the anatomy of coffee bean. So great job done. Moving to something which is very interesting. So when we want to buy anything, or if we would want to comment on the quality of food, what do we do? Of course, the restaurants may claim that exotic ingredients been used there. It is made using a very special cooking technique, right? And it will taste wonderful. These are the nuances, flavor nuances which you'll get. But till the time you taste it, you probably won't be able to authenticate that, right? So every coffee which we buy, it is bought after tasting. And it is not an easy task. Coffee is shipped into big containers, which is around 19.8 metric ton. And we would take samples, multiple samples from each container, right? Until the time it is not approved on the flavor profile, because end of the day, this is what matters to each one of us when we buy a beverage or food, that it should be tasty, it should suit your palate. This is how we buy most of all our coffees, and this has really worked out well for us. So if you get an opportunity to cup or taste a coffee before you buy, do that. So especially at Starbucks, when you come, you would want to buy a bag of coffee. You would want our partners to make you taste it. We have called something as coffee tasting. So you can let us know. You can taste the coffee and then make a decision. If you like it, you can of course go for it. So this is how the roasted coffee beans look. And I've been sharing with you that green coffee, once we roast it, and then we bag it, right? So this is how the coffee bags look like. The inside the bags, we have nitrogen air infused, not the atmospheric air, because we would want the coffee to be fresh. And nitrogen being an inert air, it does not spoil the coffee. Of course, each of these bags will also have a flavor lock, which would mean that air can't enter inside, and at the same time CO2, which is released by the coffee beans after it is bagged, can escape, and coffee remains very fresh in the bags, right? So this is how it is, and this is something very interesting. I'm sure you'll like this. At our stores, for us, is the last 10 feet. You would read the heading there. And why we call it as last 10 feet? Because we consider that the first 90 feet is the entire work which a farmer, suppliers, and the roaster does. And from our store door, probably to the place where we make our coffee, the point of sale or the preparation area could be around 10 feet on an average. And we say that at the last 10 feet, we need to do justice to the first 90 feet. And this is what gives us strength. It inspires us that we have to elevate the coffee quality, because the coffee which comes to us, I think for the last 15-20 minutes I've been sharing with you, it's a work of labor, it's a work of love, right? And we need to ensure that the coffee is of the high quality. And I have another fun game for you. I'm sure all of you are up for it. So there are 8 steps of the coffee journey from the farm to cup. Take 30 seconds to read through this step, and if you can help me to arrange in the right order, it'll be great fun. So let's go for it. So see through all the steps. I think you would have understood what I've been sharing. So anybody would like to give a try, which is the first step here, which we I think just spoke about.
Ripening would be the first stage.
Yeah, can you repeat the question again?
Sure. So you could see the 8 steps in the coffee journey from the farm to the cup. And
Yeah.
these steps I have arranged. I'm going to put the pictures and the name just below the boxes. And you can help me to arrange it in the right
Okay.
order.
Yeah, I got it. So first
Yes.
is the flowering stage.
Brilliant. I think,
Then it's the harvesting stage.
okay. Would you like to read through all the steps?
Next is the ripening stage.
Yeah, it's the ripening stage. Yeah, ripening.
Then the harvesting
Absolutely.
stage.
Yes.
Then the
So it gets
harvesting.
ripened and then it's
Then
harvested.
the clipping
Then the
stage.
processing.
Drying stage.
Uh,
Drying.
After harvesting, we have the fruit now. So what do we do with the fruit?
Drying.
Process it.
No, wait now. Drying.
Why you say drying? Why not processing? Because once we have the fruit with us, what do we need first before we
I
dry?
didn't see processing. So it's
I'm
processing.
saying processing. It's the processing stage.
Yes, it is processing.
Then the drying
Processing,
stage.
and then we have drying.
Then
Then
the
it's
roasting
the
stage.
roasting. Then it's the clipping. Then it's last 10 feet.
Roasting. Roasting is actually 7 steps. We have
Then it's
cupping.
clipping,
Cupping would mean that
then
we
last
taste the
10
coffee,
feet.
and then it is last 10 feet.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are, Vibha. I think they had fun doing this.
Yeah. I hope I'm audible. Yes. Thank you everyone. I think you've got almost everything right. So thank you so much. I hope you all remember these 8 wonderful steps, how coffee reaches you every time you brew or make coffee at home. These are called as the 8 steps of coffee journey. And of course, virtually we can take a selfie with this wonderful prop, which suggests that you know the farm to cup journey of coffee. And of course, it was fun way to learn about coffee. Cool. So I'll stop sharing my screen now and see if you have any question before we move towards a few of the interesting things around coffee brewing. Anybody has any questions here? How coffee is grown, how it is processed, how do we get coffee to our stores, or how do we get coffee to your stores? How's coffee whole bean, which I've been speaking about, is different from instant coffee? Anybody has any thoughts, any comments? Please do share. Let's make this session interactive. I suppose there's some questions all in the chat box.
Sure. I'm also taking the questions which are coming from the YouTube and Facebook, and I'll be asking it on somebody's behalf. So
Sure.
could let us know that there are many young adults here, and coffee is something typically associated with caffeine. And there are different levels of caffeine content, and generally it is now advised to reduce the caffeine intake. So which coffees are treated as a more healthier option to consume? Yes, I think we lost you, Vibhor. It was a heavy question, but we wait for your network to resume. till you're back. In the meantime, if anybody has any questions, you can either ask it yourself or put it in the chat box with the number of times everybody's visited Starbucks and enjoyed all their coffees. I'm sure there are thoughts that come to your mind.
Hello.
Yes, I think you're back, but you're still frozen. We can slightly hear you. I think Webhorse.
Hello.
Are you back now?
Yes, I'm back. I'm sorry for that. I suppose the question was around caffeine and the lot of things which are written about coffee and the caffeine. So I just started by sharing. Of course, caffeine is a natural stimulant which is in the coffee, and it varies from beverages to beverages. What is the total amount of caffeine which is there based on the brewing method which you're having? So, a brewed cup of coffee, an americano versus a latte. Probably a brewed up cup of coffee and an Americano, the black one will have slightly more caffeine versus a latte or a frappuccino. So it depends on the kind of beverage it is. Also at the same time, the bean, right? I just shared with you the good quality Arabica coffee beans has 1% caffeine by weight versus 2% which is in Robusta, right? So if you have anything, about caffeine, then probably Arabica is much superior quality coffee with less caffeine content. As I said, I think caffeine is a natural stimulant, and I would only say that if you like coffee and consuming Arabica, high quality Arabica, and you like the flavors and it suits you, I think each one of us has different coffee intake. Probably, each one of us are having different preferences for the number of coffees in a day. For me, probably a 3 Americano in a day is again great, and few of our customers probably don't prefer more than 1 or 2 cups of coffee in a day. It depends. I think it's a very personal thing. But I would say that if you're looking for high cup coffee and worried about caffeine content there,
Sorry,
then a good quality Arabica, which is served at Starbucks,
totally
probably is the best suited option.
okay. Yes, I think.
Yes. If are there any more questions?
Yes. Go ahead.
So my question is that we all know that Ratan Tata is the founder of, I think, Starbucks, or he owns it. What's his favorite coffee?
Yeah, it's a great question. And Starbucks and Tata have floated a company together called as Tata Starbucks Private Limited. And when this joint venture was signed and we initiated a company way back in 2012, Ratan Tata was the chairman of Tata Group. And it was an honor that the brand started in India with him at the top, taking care of all the things. And he was the one who's got this brand to India along with Howard Schultz, who was the chairman of Starbucks coffee company at the time. And these both gentlemen, the pioneers in their own field, I think got this beautiful brand to in India. So it's a joint, and we all belong to these wonderful companies with two wonderful parents, Tata and Starbucks. And why Tata and Starbucks got together and rolled out a company here, because both these companies share a lot of values which are common. And Ratan Tata, he was there in our first store at the time of opening. And after that, because our first store is very close to Bombay House, which is headquarters of Tata, so he frequently comes to our stores. And I've seen him ordering, I think, multiple coffees based on his mood. So I won't be able to comment. Didn't have this opportunity to ask him which one is favorite. But I've seen him trying different things. So probably I think he's somebody who loves to explore coffee and tea beverages. And if I get this opportunity again, probably I'll ask him on their behalf that which is his favorite coffee. Yeah, great question. Do you have any more questions, Parveen?
Yes. We wanted to ask, and one of the questions that has come in is, which is the world's most expensive coffee, and which country does it come from? We'll wait till, yes, I think we've got it back. I'll repeat the question.
Okay.
Question is,
I think I lost you in between. Sorry.
yes, repeat the question.
You can repeat that.
Was which is the world's most expensive coffee and which country is
Okay. So this is a very commonly asked question, and most of the time, if you Google it, you would get the answer Kopi Luwak. And it is said that it is the one of the most expensive coffee. But yeah, it is of course not true because Kopi Luwak, of course, is a coffee which is processed through the digestive tract of a mammal, right? So you would basically go to the jungles in Indonesia and collect the poop and process it, and Starbucks does not endorse such kind of coffee at all, because initially it was a natural process where you would go to field and collect these things from the ground and wash it and process it. Now when it became popular, people started force feeding the civet, which is the mammal, and then of course it is not something which we endorse at all. So that was something which was endorsed as the most expensive coffee, which I don't buy in at all, right? And so many of the coffees which we call as small rot reserved coffees are the most expensive coffees, and many of the coffee boards do auction that coffees every year, right? So I would say that every year this changes. So you go to Indian Coffee Board website, you do see that there are a lot of small lot coffees which wins the prize every year, and those are the most expensive coffees. Similarly, each of the geographies has these competitions happening, the Tasters Cup, which they call as, and those are the most expensive coffees. And these are rare coffees, micro lot coffees, and a very popular one. At Starbucks, we have something called as reserve coffees, which are again small lot, very nice, popular coffees, and which people like. Yeah, so I hope I was audible, and all of you able to hear me.
yes. How do you become a coffee specialist like yourself?
Okay, so of course the opportunity, I've been speaking about this. Starbucks gave me a lot of opportunities to learn about coffee, but I've done one more thing, of course, with the help of the brand, that I went to SCA. So SCA stands for Specialty Coffee Association, which is the governing body of coffee in India around the world. And I'm thrilled to share that there are only 3 SCA certified trainers in India, and I'm one of the 3. And what does SCA does? They teach you coffee professionally. So there are 5 modules. One is on barista. So a coffee artist is called as a barista, where you learn how to make professionally. So what is the science of brewing? What is the science of extraction? How to use the machine? How to ensure that the coffee which you brew has the optimal flavors? Understand coffee from every geography. Then there's a module on brewing. There's a module on green coffee. There's a module on coffee sensory, and there's a module on roasting. And you would need to do all these modules to 3 levels, which is foundation, intermediate, and professional. And then you go to SCA, and they do the workshops and the certification programs around the world. Mostly it happens in Hong Kong, Madrid. So I traveled to Hong Kong, and then I did my authorized SCA training program with them. So the entire thing went around for 2 years. It's quite an expensive program, as it was on to travel abroad to study coffee and coffee farms, understand coffee, and yes, but it
Yes,
is something
so
very
I have a
interesting. You learn
question.
a lot, and this is how probably I managed to learn so much about coffee.
Yeah, I have a question.
Go ahead, Aditya.
What qualifications do you need to do the course that you did at SCA?
Wait for Vibhor to come back. Oh, we'll repeat the question. Aditya, why didn't you repeat the question again?
Okay. Yeah, so what qualifications do you need to become that you need to do the course that you did at SCA? Hello?
Yes, I think just give him a second. He's lost network again.
Okay.
I hope I'm audible now.
Yeah.
And this is how probably I managed to.
Yeah. So my question was, what qualifications do you need
I hope.
to do the course
Hey,
that
hey,
you did at
hey.
SCA?
Yes, Aditya. Okay, for SCA, there's no specific educational qualification in terms of the standard education system which we have, 12th, and after that graduation, it mostly encourages you to have some experience in the industry, and then you can apply for the course. So you would have some experience in the industry, or then you start from something called as introduction to coffee. So as I had a great prior experience in the industry, close to 7 years, I think 6.5 years when I pursued that 1.5 years ago. If not, then of course you can start with the curriculum called as Introduction to Coffee, then move to Foundation so that they teach you the basics. So they won't expect you to either do 12 or anything. Of course, you would want to, but at the same time, I think you do that once you would want to take coffee professionally, and that would eventually happen if you've done +2 or have done your graduation. So this is what I mean, that if you would want to take up coffee professionally and would want to become a coffee entrepreneur, or is working with an organization where the coffee is the heart and soul, then this will certainly help you.
Okay, we've got one last question. Vibhor, in terms of comparative advantages between tea and coffee, which is better health-wise? In fact, Starbucks sells a lot of teas also. So between the teas and the coffees, which is comparatively better for health? No, it's been a tough day. I think we're back on the network issue. We'll just wait till he manages to come back for our last question. Okay, while he joins back, just to let you know, next week we have a very interesting session at AmWiser on financial literacy, where it was whether it is the first salary, your stipend, your first income, how do you start your financial planning at that age? We're going to, through AmWiser, disclose to you in the coming week a very specialized team which will teach financial literacy to young adults, the important things that they practically need to know while planning their future. So we'll just wait till Vibhor is back. Thank you so much for joining today at AmWiser. We did have one last question on tea or coffee. Which one is better? It's always a choice to make. Personally, I'm a coffee lover and I enjoy my coffee every morning. And I think Vibhor is having some network issues. But thank you all. We'll see you next week and stay in touch. You can follow AmWiser on Facebook and you can follow which sessions are coming up next and see which one is of interest to the young adults. Anybody young at heart wanting to learn is always welcome. Thank you all.